So, women. Those of you that know me know that I have a pretty firm stance on the subject of women and ministry. And I just wanted to speak briefly on that. I'll probably make a few videos about this subject because I can't just talk about everything in just a few short minutes. So, first thing that I want to bring up is this whole discussion about, can women preach? Well, they can, but the question is, may they preach, right? May women preach? And I think it might be more of a, the word preach, like my background is Slavic. I come from the Slavic background. And the word preach is equivalent, is an authoritative term. Like, people who preach, that's seen as some sort of a privilege, that's equated to teaching. And that's the first thing that we have to dismantle, is preaching and teaching are completely different things. Now, I'm just gonna jump the gun here and tell you that straight out the gate, that I don't believe that women are restricted from teaching, right? That's not where I'm going. Well, you might say, well, 1 Timothy 2:12, I do not allow women to teach. Well, there's a context for that. And if we're talking about teaching, James says, not many of you become teachers. So teaching is something that should be regarded in all seriousness, and it's something that everybody should shy away from, not jump into, not just women, men also. But anyways, as far as preaching goes, preaching in the New Testament, there's no such word as preach in the New Testament. Even if your English Bible says so, it's not in the Greek. In the Greek, it's proclaim. You're proclaiming something. And basically, the short of it is, when you're proclaiming something, you're not dissecting an idea. You're not picking apart an idea to understand the different parts of it and put it all back together to have a full understanding. That's what teaching is, all right? You're presenting elements of a broader idea in a way that people can understand those elements and put it together in their minds. That's teaching. And it usually has a different kind of impact on your life versus preaching. Preaching, during one seminar, I remember this one teacher. I was at a seminar, and he was like, preaching, he's all like, I'm sorry if this comes across wrong, but he's like, preaching is about wowing the people. Teaching is about informing the people. And he's like, teaching is often dry and you have to really want to learn. Preaching is just like capturing the crowd, like, wow, ooh, wow, oh, that's good, fire emoji, whatever, that's preaching. And you're proclaiming something. So proclaiming is, the sky is up there, the ground is down here. You're proclaiming something. You are proclaiming a truth. You are not unpacking or dissecting a truth in order to have a deeper understanding or revelation of it. So, in that sense, I agree with that teacher. Preaching is a lot about wow. But anyways, preaching is something all of us have to do. When you go and tell a person about Christ, you are literally preaching. So are you telling me that when Christ said, go into all the world, right? Preach the gospel, that's only men. That's only men. Well, no, he meant everyone, you know what I mean? It's just like in church, women aren't supposed to preach. What? In church, we're supposed to be teaching, not preaching. For one. Out here, we're supposed to be preaching, not teaching. You don't teach a person who is not a kingdom citizen the principles and laws of the kingdom. You need to get them into the kingdom. They need to die to their sins in order to be reborn into the kingdom. That can only be through the gospel of Jesus Christ, which we are all to go and preach everywhere. Women and men are both called to preach. As far as in the church, that's probably going to be my next video. But I just want to touch on 1 Timothy 2:12, where he says, I do not allow a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man. Now that, I don't know why they translated it that way. That word exercise authority over, or those 3 words in English, is actually one Greek word. And it's only found in that spot. It's one time in the New Testament. The other times you see authority, it's the Greek word exousia, right? This one, I think it's authenteo or something like that. And it's only one time in that verse there, in that line that Paul wrote to Timothy. And it means to usurp. It actually means autonomy. It's a person who does what they want to do because they're their own boss. They don't answer to any kind of authority. And what Paul is saying, first of all, the word teach has to be understood in a governmental sense. This is Paul writing to Timothy. And you got to think about Jewish mindset. And in the Old Testament, God calls judges, prophets, and kings to shepherd his people. To shepherd his people. So the word shepherd is used as a type of leadership term. And to teach my people my laws. Okay, that's also used as a leadership term. Not preach my laws, teach my laws to my people. And that reflects to the New Testament, where we preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to people who are outside the kingdom. And when they yield and commit to Christ, they are reborn into the kingdom, and that's where we then teach them the gospel of the kingdom, the laws and the principles of the kingdom. And the dynamics change a bit there. So that term there, exercise authority over man, means she should not usurp a man's authority to teach the people. Usurp. That does not mean that she cannot teach when she is under man's authority. And the same goes for everybody else. We all need to be under authority. And that is the number one issue that people in Christianity, don't understand, is operating under authority. You have to operate under authority in order to operate with authority. Anyways, so that's the first thing I wanted to address as far as the kingdom and women, is this notion about women cannot preach. Yes, they can and they should, just like you can and you should, because we all are called to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to the unsaved so that they may become saved. And then when they are saved, then there are laws and principles of the kingdom which we all must submit to. And that's a different question. Hope this blessed you. If you're a sister listening to me, I encourage you to preach the gospel to the unsaved. All right. What happens in church buildings, on the stage there, on the microphone, that is just a tiny, tiny little piece of what we're called to do. Please don't limit your calling to the stage, or anybody, man or woman listening to me. Please do not limit your calling to the stage. Please do not limit your calling to the stage. All of us are called to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to the unsaved. And evangelists are especially designed for that by God. The rest of us, we need to do it as God gives us grace to do it. So God bless you.